Happy feckin' Christmas to you all out there, especially the Tears of the Kingdom fans around the world, for a very special episode. As part of the Tears of the Kingdom journey, I have acquired all of the memories throughout this entire experience, and I wanted to watch all of these memories in chronological order to get the full scope of the story. This is something that we done with Breath of the Wild, but in this video I'm going to check out all of the Tears of the Kingdom memories in chronological order, and I cannot wait to see everything in just one continued video. I will comment on the things that I love, the things that I don't like, and just give my overall review of the story so far up until the end game, which is going to be happening live on Twitch Monday the 11th of December, 2 p.m. Irish time. Make sure you follow me on Twitch and turn on notifications, because I am going to beat Tears of the Kingdom for the first time over there. I'm excited. I can't wait. I've had a lot of ups and downs with this game, and I've had some really positive opinions and some really negative ones too. But overall, I want to have the best experience possible, and I think the best way to do that first is to watch these memories in order and just see what the story is trying to tell the player. If that makes you excited, leave a like on this video and make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because you don't want to miss the rest of this epic adventure. It's going to be truly incredible. I cannot wait. All that being said, lads, let's jump in to the Tears of the Kingdom memories. This is the first memory, the Master Sword's power. Link recovers the Master Sword in the Lost Woods after it's been restored. Zelda is astonished to learn from the Deku Tree that the Master Sword will become even stronger when flooded with sacred power. Here we go.
It is good to see you, Princess Zelda of Hyrule, and Link, Keeper of the Master Sword. Your blade has been fully restored. Go on then, Link. Draw it once more.
Okay, so what's happening here is obviously we defeated Calamity Ganon. Did we go back to the Lost Woods to power up the sword
Great
again?
Deku Tree. Thank you so much.
That's what it seems.
There is no need for thanks. I merely watched over its renewal.
It is amazing that a sword can heal itself, no matter how badly damaged it becomes.
It can do more than heal. The sword will continue to gain strength if bathed in sacred power. The stronger that power, the more powerful the sword becomes. The potential of this fabled blade may well be limitless, truly the work of a goddess.
A sword that grows ever stronger. The Master Sword.
That's a really cool memory. I love that. So, as I stated, it seems that after our battle against Calamity Ganon, saving Hyrule, we had to bring the sword back to the Lost Woods and to the Deku Tree in order to reignite the power again and, I suppose, make the sword new again. And as stated by the Great Deku Tree, the sword can just get stronger and stronger as long as it's bathed in power, or divine power. So that's really cool lore right there. Let's go to the Awakening. While investigating the mysterious gloom under Hyrule Castle, Link and Zelda encounter a mummy that attacks them. Events spiral out of control when the Master Sword shatters. Zelda falls into the depths of the earth, and Link, gripped by a mysterious arm, is enveloped in light. So this happens at the very beginning of the game.
What is that?
I assume the preparations that were made was We need to get the Master Sword if we're going to go down here because they knew there may be a big threat down here. Alright, so Zelda's got the Spirit Stone. There's also another Spirit Stone on Ganondorf's head. It's still crazy to me that all of that power in the sword and within Link was just deteriorated by...
Was that the sword that seals the darkness?
His presence.
The blade that shatters so easily against my power cannot save you from me. Zelda. You who carries that fragile sword. A Link. Raru placed his faith in you. And that was all you could do.
How do you know our names?
Watching this again with the context that I have now is giving me more questions than answers. Mister. So the Spirit Stone is what transferred her back in time. And Raru saved Link. The spirit of Raru saved Link. Would I be right in saying that? And upheaval began. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to do this because I feel like one viewing of the story, especially the memories, is not enough to fully understand it. Watching them again, obviously I have more questions, but it is... things are starting to piece together a little bit. Before I didn't know what the Spirit Stones were, I know what they are now. But why did Ganondorf have the Time Spirit Stone? That's what I'm going to call it, because the power that it gives Zelda harnesses her time powers, I suppose, and she can go back to the past. So did she go back to the past subconsciously knowing that's what she needed to do? Because she is in control of her own power. The biggest question I have, though, is why did Ganondorf have that Spirit Stone as well as his own that's in his forehead? Okay, let's move on. Where am I? This is memory number 3. After disappearing into the depths under the castle, Zelda wakes up and meets two strangers who introduce themselves as King Raru and Queen Sonia. She's left startled by a suspicion that she's heard those names before. And also for context regarding the tears. Tears is the tears of the dragon being Zelda, which means these are Zelda's memories. So Zelda ended up back where it all began in Hyrule, where the rain was Raru and Sonia.
Oh dear.
We didn't mean to startle you. I'm sorry. It's okay. My name is Sonia.
And could we ask what your name is?
I am the daughter of King Rome of Hyrule, Zelda.
What an unexpected answer. We are the king and queen who founded Hyrule, after all. Or at least we were the last time I checked.
You two founded Hyrule? And you're the king?
My name is Raru. King Raru of Hyrule.
King Raru? And Queen Sonia? But that must mean...
Yep, and you're back in time. So that's a very brief memory. It doesn't really show too much. It's mainly the introduction to Queen Sonia and King Raru and the beginning of Hyrule, basically where it all began, which I find very odd because in previous games that we've played, there was never mention of these characters before. So this is a brand new take on the lore that happens in the beginning, which I think a lot of us thought Skyward Sword was the beginning of it all. That's where, you know, the Master Sword came to be, Fi, Demise, you know, the whole Triforce situation that happens over different timelines or different periods of time. So it is strange now, all of a sudden, we're getting a King Raru and Queen Sonia who founded Hyrule, and this is where it actually all began. This is where it began in Hyrule. Let's go to memory number 4, an unfamiliar world. Looking out across the world she's found herself in, Zelda realizes she's traveled to the ancient past and questions how she can get back to her own time. Sonia offers some helpful thoughts, but it's Raru who realizes his older sister, Minu, might know a way Zelda can travel forward in time. I like that shot there as well. It's almost a shot of the Breath of the Wild shot.
As I thought. This is not the world I know. A time so far back in the past, it's become legend. So it's true. This is really the era of Hyrule's founding?
Your presence here is just as strange to us, Zelda. But if you, like Sonia, have a secret stone and are able to manipulate time, then your story makes sense.
Oh? I believed her right away. You needed the secret stone as proof, Raru? I
There you
can
go.
feel your light power within her.
Now I
as well
know.
as my time power. Additionally, I sense that we share a blood connection.
Okay, so that's where the Spirit Stone comes
see.
from. It's actually Sonia's stone,
In
which
any
makes
case,
sense
Zelda,
because
You
we'll
had
get to that
said
memory.
that you needed to return to your era as soon as you possibly could.
Yes. In my time, something terrible is happening. I need to get back there. But how do I do that? I don't even know how I got here in the first place.
What? Why did she hit him? Like, he's
Zelda,
touching his
dear.
hip. It's like, ow.
You don't need to solve your problems all at once. Why
That's
not
so
come
funny.
back with us to the castle? Hmm?
No,
We'll tell everyone that you're a distant relative of ours.
Got the Triforce
It is
symbol on her
true,
wrist as
after
well.
all. We'll get you fresh clothes, too. I'm sure an answer will come to you. Wisdom takes time.
I don't know what to say.
I wonder. Minu, she may have some idea of how to get you back to your era.
Minu, you said?
Yes. She knows far more than anyone about our people. And like us, my older sister has a secret stone. We'll call on her.
Okay, so to answer the Secret Stone question I had earlier, clearly that when Sonia was killed by Ganondorf in the future memory that we'll watch, he had taken her Secret Stone. Also, why do they call them Secret Stones? They're not secret, they're out in the open. Anyway, so that's how she ends up having a time secret stone as well as Sonia. So essentially there's 2 time secret stones. Or should I say, essentially there's an extra secret stone now because Zelda unwillingly or accidentally duplicated the stone by going back to the past where the stone already existed. Alright, so here is memory number 5, Minoru's Council. After examining the Purapad, Minoru accepts that Zelda is from a different time, and explains the only way she might get to the future is by using draconification. It's a forbidden act, however, because Zelda would need to sacrifice her sense of self, Raru tells a disappointed Zelda to speak with Sonia and learn more about her power over time itself. I have some things to say about this, but we'll move on and we'll see what happens in the memory first. It's a Nintendo Switch, dude. Come on.
It is quite an interesting device. This is definitely not from this era. That said, I believe there may be a way to get the travel functionality working here. I'd like to tinker with it a bit. Would it be okay if I borrow it?
Yes, whatever you need. I really appreciate your help.
Then I'll hold on to it.
So you really believe my story? That I came from the future?
I never doubted you for a moment.
Minoru, do you know of a way we could help to return Zelda back to her time?
I suspect it was the power of your secret stone that allowed you to travel through time. To put it simply, secret stones amplify the power their owners possess. I am able to separate my spirit from my body. Raru can repel or destroy evil with his power of light. And Sonia, she can control time. As for you, I can sense both light and time powers. But your secret stone seems to amplify your time power.
Time power.
Ultimately, the secret stone only amplifies your power. It doesn't suddenly grant you mastery and control. That's still up to you. That means, if you don't already know how to get yourself home... There are stories about the secret stones and a forbidden act called draconification.
Conification.
To swallow a secret stone is to become an immortal dragon, one blessed with eternal life.
Interesting. Another way to reach the future, though not a very quick one. So you think these stories could hint at a solution to our dilemma?
Yes. But there is still more to those tales. To become an immortal dragon is to lose oneself. That is why it is forbidden. I thought maybe this could lead to a solution, some way to transcend time. But if you have to sacrifice your heart and mind, sacrifice what makes you you. I'm sorry. I wish I could help more.
Back where we started. There's still hope. I think the answer to this problem lies in study and learning more about the nature of your power. I'm sure Sonia would be happy to help you.
Okay.
Okay, so that was our first conversation about draconification, which is essentially turn yourself into a dragon, get eternal life, and then just wait it out. Which I think is kind of weird, because the first conversation they have is about her powers, and how the secret stones amplify your powers, depending what powers you have. Minoru sensed that she has the power of light and the power of time. Since she has the time secret stone that actually came from Sonia, it's amplifying her time power. So that to me is like, okay, maybe Zelda has this incredible time power which will eventually help her find a way to get back to the future and, you know, tell Link, warn Link, tell everybody, get prepared, Ganondorf is coming, all that stuff. But then it just goes to, actually, do you know what? There is no hope for you actually going to the future, even though you have time powers. But there is this thing where you can turn into a dragon. Just feels a little strange to even talk about time powers and how the stone amplifies our powers, and then go straight to, actually, do you know what? Forget that. There is a way where you can just turn into a freaking dragon, just wait it out. You know, it just feels a bit strange. That's all. They could have left out the whole time power enhancement thing altogether. They could have just used that as an explanation of how she ended up in that time, as in that stone is actually from that time period, so it zapped her back to that time because she held it in her hand or something like that. That's all. It just feels like that's what it feels like. Anyway, let's move on. Maybe we can get some more context to it and why it was the only way for her to go back to the future. Okay, so this one is one of my favorite memories that we found. This is the Gerudo Assault. The Gerudo chief, Ganondorf, in his push to conquer Hyrule, uses a swarm of Molduga to assault the castle. When Raru uses his powers to unleash an attack that destroys the swarm, Ganondorf notices the Zonai Secret Stone on Raru's right hand. The sight of it draws a sinister smile from Ganondorf. So, Minu has stated that Raru has the power to banish darkness, the power of light. So he can banish evil and darkness, and that's his power. It's something that I think the Master Sword itself shares, which got me very excited at first, because I thought maybe there's some sort of spiritual light connection between Raru and the Master Sword, but you know, there wasn't. But anyway, let's watch this memory and see how cool this is again. This is actually really awesome. So this is our first real good glimpse at Ganondorf as well. His character design is awesome. It reminds me of Wind Waker Ganondorf, who is my favorite Ganondorf today.
Hyrule will bow down before me.
Right, here comes the Molduga.
Molduga are approaching our position.
It's more than we thought. It's a swarm.
There are so many of them. But why would they...
Here we go. Whoa, she's radiating so much power. Sonia's like, bitch, how'd you get so strong so fast? Death beam, holy shit.
That blast wiped out all the Molduga! How is that possible?
Oh, I feel bad for them.
So brute force will not be enough. The secret stone of the Zonai.
How could he see it from there?
How interesting.
If they can't see him from there, how the hell did he see the stone from there? I like that scene as well, when Sonia was kind of just nodding towards Zelda, like, here, this is what you need to do. Zelda raises her hand and all of this power comes out, but then again, Minu did state that Zelda has the power of light and time, so naturally the light power is amplifying Raru's power greatly in order to deliver that death beam, so that was cool. Really cool memory, really awesome memory, love the animation and all that stuff. Here is memory number 7. A show of fealty. Invited before the court of Hyrule, Ganondorf kneels before King Raru and pledges his fealty, while concealing a smile that says otherwise. Still, Zelda is uneasy and tells Raru that she's certain the chief has treachery on his mind. Raru assures her that he's been fully aware of it.
Allow me to offer you my deepest apologies. On behalf of the Gerudo, for taking so long to accept your repeated invitations. It is our desire to be accepted into the protective embrace of your kingdom. To serve it faithfully.
A welcome appeal, Ganondorf. I will accept your vow of fealty to the Kingdom of Hyrule. I understand that a single male is born to the Gerudo every 100 years. Receiving such an appeal from you, a hero to his people and a king by birth, well, it is truly reassuring.
It is my honor. When your Zonai ancestors first descended upon these lands long, long ago, they must have seemed to be gods. And now you rule as king, and have taken a Hyrulean woman as your wife. Your Majesty has certainly risen above your admirable lineage. Most impressive. It is unfortunate that the noble Zonai no longer grace this world with their presence. All except you and your sister, that is.
Even if something were to happen to me, both my kingdom and the peace it brings, these will endure for generations to come. Your actions today are appreciated, Ganondorf. I look forward to your future endeavors. You may leave.
Your Majesty.
King Raru, I believe that man's heart holds many dark ambitions. Just his name, even that, it gives me pause.
I am well aware of his evil nature. For that reason, and others, I want him close. It will be easier to keep an eye on him. There is nothing to worry about.
Okay.
It's a really cool memory because it brings me back to Ocarina of Time, where we first see Ganondorf kneeling before the king and Zelda and Link are spying through the window. Really reminiscent of that. Also, when you look at the background of this picture, you see Gerudo, but then there's two beside him on his left and his right, like his left arm and his right arm. It gives me the vibes of the two witches that we first meet in Ocarina of Time. Do you remember those? But isn't there like story somewhat connected to Ganondorf? Like they trained him, they took him in, they taught him magic and stuff like that. Now don't quote me on that, but that's something that I remember. I wonder if that is them or some sort of representation of them. Anyway, we're on to memory number 8 now. Zelda and Sonia. When Zelda speaks with Sonia to learn how to use her own time powers, she's surprised by the Queen's techniques. Sonia then speaks with Zelda about everything she must be struggling with. The princess then mentions Link. Raru has never heard of him before, and as Zelda explains who he is, her faith in her friend and hero shines.
Oh!
Recall. The power of recall.
Are you well? You seem a bit distracted.
I apologize. I keep getting lost in my thoughts, thinking about how I can return home. With your power over time, if I were able to learn that kind of control, I might be one step closer to my era.
I see. The secret is to think of it like drawing out the object's memory. You ask the object where it was, how it arrived where it is now, and then you coax it back to that original moment in time.
The object's memory.
I'm sure it will become almost like second nature, and you will be able to find your way home. But Zelda, there is more on your mind than just that.
Huh?
You, of course, do want to get back to your time. But you also desperately want to help us out in this era. Am I close to the truth?
How did you know?
I do not believe it is possible to keep anything secret from Sonia.
Oh, your concern is very sweet, Zelda. But listen, you can focus your attention on returning home. After all, you possess more than power over time. You have a sacred power that can dispel evil. Both of these powers will help you protect your own era.
Queen Sonia!
And of course, you must make it home safe to put Link's mind at ease.
Link? That is not a name I have heard.
He is a royal knight. He had been originally appointed for my protection. But later, he became a hero by saving both me and Hyrule from a great evil.
Oh, a hero is he?
He is so very dedicated, and he refuses to back down from any challenge. He is very strong. And his heart is good and true.
Aww, I love how she speaks about him.
I can see that you have absolute faith in him. Hearing you speak so highly of Link, I find myself wanting to meet him as well.
Indeed. I would also like to meet him. He must be quite the brave, courageous knight. What a picture Zelda paints of him.
So they're very much aware that Link is more than just her protector. Seeing a relationship between Sonia and Raru, obviously they're a couple, and they founded Hyrule. One contains the power of time, the other contains the power of light. Together, you have light and time, which I'm assuming is where Zelda's lineage comes from, obviously. As Sonia mentioned earlier, they share a bloodline. So that's probably why Zelda contains the power of both time and light. It's because of her ancestors who she's talking to at this tea party. Yeah, so I like that. I do like the connections with these characters, and also how they mentioned, or Zelda mentioned, the events of Breath of the Wild and how Link saved Hyrule from a great evil. But it is a little bit strange to me that there was no, like, conversation of a possible connection between Calamity Ganon and Ganondorf. Like, there was no... It was just more of, okay, yeah, Zelda saved Hyrule once and it was this big evil. But let's forget about it because it's definitely not connected to what is actually happening now. But Zelda should know that there is a connection there. There should be something to do with Calamity Ganon. Like, this great evil that Link fought and defeated is now rising up again, except in the form, or his true form, which is Ganondorf. I just think that's very strange. It's not mentioned or talked about or connected to the current events. Sonia is caught by treachery. Sonia meets with Zelda in private, and when the princess is revealed to be a creature under Ganondorf's command, Sonia and the real Zelda address the threat with confidence. The false Zelda laughs eerily and vanishes in a mist of gloom. In that moment, Ganondorf steps up behind Sonia and catches the queen by surprise. She falls victim to the scheme.
All right, Zelda. We are alone as you requested. What was it you wanted to discuss with me in private?
You are far too trusting.
Oh my. I'm surprised to hear you say such a thing.
Nice.
That is quite out of character for the Zelda I know. But then you are a puppet of Ganondorf.
Did you really think we hadn't realized your deceit?
Damn, she's already getting good with her powers, dude. Oh shit. Even though I've seen this before, even that took me by surprise again. So this is going to give us our explanation of how Ganondorf had possessed the secret stone of time.
Your Majesty! Queen Sonia! Oh no! Queen Sonia!
That smile, dude. That is rough. Throughout the memories that we've watched, the relationship that we've seen between Sonia and Raru, there was no mention of an heir. There was no mention of a son or a daughter. Now I'm like questioning my thought process on the lineage, how Zelda possessed the power of time and light. If Sonia's dead and they never had a child, how was the power transferred down the bloodline? Unless there is a child that they have that I'm unaware of. Anyway, memory number 10, Birth of the Demon King. With the secret stone he took from Sonia, Ganondorf turns into the Demon King. Wait, now I'm confused. So the stone that he had taken from Sonia is the stone that he has on his forehead. Where does he get the other stone? The gloom that issues from his body creates countless monsters that howl across the world. Raru goes to Sonia's side to help his fallen queen. Though furious of Ganondorf, he knows the Demon King is too powerful to confront that moment. He retreats with Zelda. Okay, now I'm kind of questioning the whole time stone getting duplicated.
Queen Sonia!
Okay.
Queen Sonia!
Finally, it is mine!
So did he create his own secret stone? He's corrupted it.
I can feel my strength surging.
Demise. Shades of Demise. The true Demon King. Man, even the Lionels. The blood moon has never shined so brightly till this night.
Sonia!
You were too late, Raru. You took for granted the godlike power you had in your hands. Do you now see the potential you squandered? As for her, she is merely the first victim of your arrogance. You tried to control me, Raru, and you will die knowing that you failed.
Queen Sonia needs It's you.
So it was one powerful memory that. So that's how Ganondorf ends up getting the stone. He kills Sonia, takes her stone, retrieves her power. My question is though, if the stone that she has, the secret stone, is the stone that possesses the stone is like the time power, then how come Ganondorf becomes... How does he obtain so much power from the time secret stone? Unless he transformed the secret stone in order for it to amplify his own power. But Minu said the stone that Zelda has in particular is the one that amplifies her time power. Hence why the similarities between her stone and Sonia's stone is they're both amplified the power of time. Interesting. Let's move on to memory number 11, the Demon King's army. Having turned into the Demon King, Ganondorf uses his terrifying power to cover the world in gloom and send his army of monsters across Hyrule, attacking the peoples of all territories who oppose him.
Rise, my servants. Sweep over Hyrule with the power I have granted.
That's a cool shot right there. Dude.
Eliminate this kingdom and her allies. Leave no survivors.
That's insane. That's such a cool memory. Oh my god, that's so cool. Not much to say there other than Ganondorf is, or should I say, the Demon King is monstrosely powerful and rides a unicorn. Memory number 12, the Sage's Vow. Backed into a corner by the attacks in all parts of Hyrule, leaders facing the Demon King's forces gather at Raru's call. He gives each a Zonai secret stone, making them sages with powers amplified by the stones. All of the sages raise their voices as one, pledging to fight with King Raru to the end. Okay, so he gives each Zonai a secret stone, making them sages with powers amplified by the stones. Okay, again, it seems that the stones don't amplify a certain power, they amplify whatever stone wants to amplify then? Am I right in saying that? Because I thought each stone had a special trait and it was suited to a special person. That person having a similar trait to the stone, which means in turn amplifies their power. But in this text, it seems that whatever stone you're given amplifies the power that you have. So that's why Ganondorf has Demon King power now, or unlocked the Demon King's powers, because of the stone that he'd taken off Sonia, which was a time secret stone, is no longer a time secret stone. It's just more of a stone to amplify Ganondorf's power. A little confusing, but I get it now.
King Raru, we just received word that the last free village in the Gerudo Desert has fallen. At this rate, the Demon King's army will overwhelm us.
I understand. Our only hope is for me to defeat the Demon King.
Raru, the Demon King, he is not someone you can stop by yourself. But you are not alone. You have the Gerudo, Goron, Zora, and Rito leaders as well as Zelda. And of course, you can count on me.
There's something I'd like to show you all.
Okay, so there's the secret stones.
Sacred stones.
Stand with me. I need all your aid.
Okay, so the stones transform to suit the wielder of the stone.
We all, gathered here, swear on our lives to serve Raru, the King of Light.
So the origin of the secret stones now is what I want to know about. How did Raru obtain them all? Well, that's the sages. They're going to aid Raru in his fight against the Demon King. Okay, so with the power of the stones, they became the sages. Right, let's move on. Try to make sense of everything. A king's duty. This is memory number 13. On the eve of battle, Zelda tells Raru that in her future, she's seen that the Demon King is alive, and that it means they won't defeat him the next day. Raru says that he will still do what he must, even at the cost of his life. If they fail, their last line of defense will be the knight in the future, who wields the sword that seals the darkness. Okay, so this is where Sonia was buried. I remember stealing that Sunderlion in my playthrough, thinking nothing of it. Little did I know I was desecrating a grave.
Oh, Zelda.
King Raru, before you face the Demon King tomorrow, there is something I must tell you. I came to this era after finding a man underground.
Go on.
Why did she wait so long to say
what the
this?
secret stone did to Ganondorf. At that moment, I knew for sure. What we found underground, that was him. He was still alive, still powerful. He continues to live on, all the way until my time. In tomorrow's battle, we won't be able to defeat him. No matter how strong we think we are, he'll survive. And you will.
Maybe so. But it is my duty to try. It was my hubris that set us on this path. I must atone for my error in judgment. And above all else, I remain the King of Hyrule. As with any leader, it is my duty to safeguard and protect my people, even if I must risk my life.
Raru.
And if it proves impossible for us to defeat Ganondorf, we rely on your knight and that legendary sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link. But
All
remember,
caps.
that was a future where you never appeared in this world. And you are here now. Zelda, I believe there is a reason you were sent to us. It has to mean something.
The reason I am here.
That's when she says to herself, I have to do it. I have to do it. It's the only way. So I suppose Zelda didn't really want to mention what they found under the castle because it didn't make too much sense to her at the time. But now that she's beginning to understanding the imprisoning war, the battle against the Demon King, and seeing Ganondorf get the stone for the first time, he obviously got a flashback to that moment where her and Link found Ganondorf underneath the castle and he still possesses the power. That doesn't answer my question though. How did he have 2 stones? Moving on to the imprisoning war. This is memory number 14. In the battle against Demon King Ganondorf, King Raru realizes that he and his allies have found themselves in a fatal moment, knowing he is at fault for Ganondorf's rise in Hyrule and for the theft of the secret stone. Raru risks his life to imprison the tyrant. Can't believe we're on memory number 14 already.
Long ago, my people, known as the Zonai, came down from the heavens to the surface of the world. It was said they were descendants of gods. They bore treasures from these same gods, secret stones capable of amplifying the abilities of those who possessed them.
They're stones from gods. Okay.
Using the knowledge of the Zonai, my younger brother Raru became a great leader. He met a young woman named Sonia, and they would wed. Raru gifted Sonia one of the secret stones. Together, they sought to establish their kingdom. This is how the Kingdom of Hyrule, with Raru and Sonia as its first king and queen, came to be. The future looked bright. However, tragedy suddenly struck. A man of great evil emerged from the desert. The leader of the Gerudo, Ganondorf, killed Queen Sonia and stole her secret stone. Using the secret stone, Ganondorf transformed into the Demon King. He then created swarms of monsters and attacked. Hyrule rose up to face these threats, but the evil power driving the monsters forward was staggering. The defenders were on the brink of defeat. Raru then came up with a plan to turn the tide of the war. He entrusted secret stones to warriors with exceptional abilities. They became sages and united in an effort to finally defeat the Demon King. Raru and the sages outnumbered the Demon King and should have been able to stop him. However, the Demon King's power had grown far beyond anything we could have imagined. I was unable to withstand his strength. Our fight appeared all but lost. And then, Raru. He committed himself to one final act.
That pride will be your downfall, Ganondorf!
Dude, this is... Oh my god, I've seen this already, but holy shit, dude, it gets me every single time! A church bell, oh my god!
You plan to hold me here? What a clever way to solve your problems. But are you ready to pay the price for this?
Don't be so smug. I know exactly what it will cost me.
Raru!
Thousands of years will pass in the blink of an eye. You only delay the inevitable.
You're wrong. Years from now, someone will appear with the sword that seals the darkness. A swordsman with the power to defeat you, Link. Remember this name.
Link. Interesting. I look forward to meeting you.
I love how he said it like that as well, dude. And almost as if he seems familiar to the name. Okay, so here's how I can make sense of having the two stones. It's actually Raru's stone that Zelda finds at the bottom of the castle with the corpse of Ganondorf. Right, that would make more sense. That memory is so awesome. That is the best scene in this entire game so far that I've seen. Hands down, truly just amazing. Raru just proves that he's an absolute badass and deserves to rule Hyrule. What? Just amazing. Dude, wow. Okay, this is memory number 15 now. A Master Sword in Time. As Zelda worries about the Demon King breaking free in the future, a decayed Master Sword appears before her, delivering the news to Zelda that Link is safe in her time. This helps Zelda realize the reason behind her traveling to the ancient days of Hyrule. She finally knows what she must do. And we all know what that is. So let's watch this again, because this one in particular is important for me to watch again. My first reactions to this was more so shock rather than emotional. A lot of you said that when you first watched this and seen this that you broke down in tears. It made you super sad and it was an incredible sacrifice and all that stuff. But I didn't get that myself first time I watched it. But now that I have like the context of the story, the motives behind it, I think this might hit a little bit harder, but we'll see.
We managed to restrain him somehow. But Link, I am not sure you'll be able to stop him.
Okay, so her secret stone had drawn her to that point. You hear Fi calling out.
Master Sword. How is the Master Sword? You're telling me that Link is safe? You traveled through time to find me and recover your strength.
Zelda, I believe there is a reason you were sent to us. It has to mean something.
Oh, I got
I
chills.
am here.
Fuck.
It's something only I can do. We will finally stop him.
To become an immortal dragon is to lose oneself.
I'll be forever changed. Link! You must find me.
Okay, so that wasn't the memory that I thought it was, but it still was the build up to that memory. That definitely hit me a lot stronger this time around because of, you know, just seeing the full story, understanding the context between each scene that we've got, and also knowing a lot about the previous games that we've gotten. Now, a lot of my, I want to say, negative rants towards this game is lack of connection between its predecessors, previous games, and previous lore. There is moments in this particular scene that it felt like truly it felt like that Fi from Skyward Sword was connected so deeply within Zelda, and Zelda and Fi have this connection. Zelda has this connection with the Master Sword that she can communicate with it. And it seems that Fi had some sort of something to do with this whole sword ending up there with Zelda, and in that time Fi needed help and called out to her and said, like, you're the only one that can help me. And Zelda now knows from what she's been told the only way that she can do that. Which will bring us here. Memory number 16, critical decisions. Zelda informs Minu that she has come up with a plan to restore the Master Sword by performing an act that Minu herself has said is expressly forbidden. It will consume Zelda's sense of self, but the princess insists that she will make this ultimate sacrifice. Minu is gravely opposed but promises to help to the best of her ability.
You're saying that sword traveled through time the same way you did?
Yes, but more importantly, in my original time, the Demon King was vulnerable to even the smallest piece of this sword.
Even someone like him has vulnerabilities. Then, what exactly are you suggesting we do with the sword?
Over time, the Master Sword is able to absorb sacred power. It can heal itself, and even grow stronger.
Curious. If we were able to empower it in that way, it could be the key to defeating the Demon King. But it could take centuries for that sword to grow strong enough. The power the Demon King wields. I do not see how this can be done. It would be impossible for you to provide it with sacred power for so long.
I can think of one way.
You mean?
Yes, I can do it. I have to.
I've told you. That act is forbidden. For a very good reason. It would mean throwing yourself away.
Oh, Minoru!
You won't be able to change back.
The moment I had the sword, I knew what to do. I knew this was why I came to this era. I want to restore the Master Sword and deliver it to Link.
I understand.
She knows at this point there's no point in arguing. She's made her decision.
Really have made up your mind?
Yeah.
Very well then. As a Zonai, I bear my share of blame for these events. So I too will devote myself to this goal and to this hero of yours. For the swordsman Link, I will do everything I can. Even if my body should perish, I will still be with you in spirit.
That's it. The decision is made. She's going to go the draconification route, power up the sword over centuries, meet Link once again, and deliver the true power. That brings us to memory number 17, Tears of the Dragon. After leaving the Purapad in Minu's care, Zelda swallows the secret stone, holding a hope for Link's future in her heart. As bright light washes over her, Zelda transforms into the Light Dragon, roaring as she ascends into the sky. Tears fall from her eyes and rain from the heavens as the Light Dragon vanishes into an expanse of clouds. This is the one that made you all break down in tears. But for me, that didn't happen. It was more shock. So let's see what happens this time.
Was that the sword that seals the darkness? The blade that shatters so easily against my power cannot save you from me.
The sword will continue to gain strength if bathed in sacred power. The stronger that power, the more powerful the sword becomes.
After all, you possess more than power over time. You have a sacred power that can dispel evil.
To swallow a secret stone is to become an immortal dragon, one blessed with eternal life.
Minoru, I'm counting on you.
Wait a minute, was that a spirit transferred to the Purapad?
Link, I will restore the Master Sword for you. I will care for it until the time comes. I will pour my sacred power into it. It will be the weapon that defeats the Demon King.
To become an immortal dragon is to lose oneself.
You must.
Did it? Swallowed it. The music as well.
Protect them all!
There's the tears. Yeah, it's a pretty sad sacrifice. I mean, like, the last thing she said was protect them all, and you couldn't help but feel that, you know. But at the same time, I couldn't get like an emotional trigger from that for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's just, to me, it just feels so strange that the only way was to turn into a dragon. But again, I know it's a sacrifice, so let me know how that particular memory made you feel in the comment section below. I'm still unsure about it, even with all the context. Anyway, here we are with our final memory, Zelda's wish. Zelda clutches the Decayed Master Sword close to her chest and calls to Link, hoping that the sword, which she's suffusing with new power, can find a way to him somehow.
Link. Link. The Master Sword. Your sword. She is the key to destroying the Demon King. He defeated her before, but a long slumber will heal these grievous wounds. And when you two next face the Demon King, you will have my strength to help you through her. Link, you are our final hope. I pray this sword reaches you in the future.
She said you'd have the strength of me through her. She literally directly referred to the sword as her, as in Fi, right? Did I get that right? There it is. All 18 memories in chronological order, just before we beat the game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was my reaction to watching every single Tears of the Kingdom memory in chronological order, which is really important to do, because I've done this with Breath of the Wild to get a broader understanding of the story and truly get grasp of what is being told to me in a narrative way. And this definitely has opened my eyes a lot more to the story. I do quite like the direction of this story and where it's going, and the sacrifices that had to be made, and the connection between past and present. I love it. But there is a but. There still feels like there is a lot of disconnection between Tears of the Kingdom and not just Breath of the Wild, but predecessors, games that happened before. A lot of what's happening here has to do with time and the manipulation of time and time periods. I feel like there could have been so much more connected with things that have happened in the past because of the main topic being time, and how time is used quite literally to defeat Ganondorf in this particular story. So it would have been nice to see some sort of connections between different times or different games, if you will. And I think it is something that they could have done very easily in this game, which would have made an incredible payoff for Zelda fans over the past 36 years of this franchise being a thing. But it fails to do that, which is strange to me, but also I can understand why they went this route without connecting games. Here's one of the main reasons, I think. Business. And I don't want to say that, but I think it's kind of true. If you look at this story, it is very vague with its connections to stuff that's happened previously. Even Breath of the Wild, which is essentially supposed to be the prequel to this. Breath of the Wild came out first. This is, as they first advertised, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. But the only real mentions we get is in that particular memory where she's talking to Raru and Sonia at that, while having tea, and she mentions Link, and she talks about Link and how Link saved Hyrule against a great evil. But she failed to make any sort of connection with this great evil and the evil that they found under the castle, because it's pretty obvious that evil is connected, but it's never spoken of. She never talks about the heroes, and she never even mentions that in her time long ago, there was the champions, and the champions also were warriors of each tribe. You got the Rito, the Gerudo, the Goron, like you had them all there. And the fact that they didn't mention that, or she failed to mention that or make connections with that, just felt a little weird to me, because for anybody that's playing Tears of the Kingdom, they loved Breath of the Wild. There's a reason why we were hungry for this sequel. Wanted to see where the story is going to go, how it's going to continue, and how it's going to connect. We got to see where the story is going, how it's going to continue, but we didn't get to connect, which does bother me a lot with this particular story. And I think the reason, as I stated before, the reason for that is because of business. Business being, if they make a story that doesn't fully actually really have to be connected with Breath of the Wild, then it means more people will be inclined to buy this game as their first Legend of Zelda game, knowing that they don't really need to play Breath of the Wild to play this, which means they'll sell more copies. That's to where I think it derives from, because Breath of the Wild was very good at having Easter eggs, callbacks, and love letters to previous games, but not quite connected to those previous games. And one can argue the Zelda formula was very much like that throughout the entire 36 years plus of it being a thing. Every game wasn't truly connected, but there was always something that you could do to connect the two together, especially if it's a game that came out previously. But in this game, there's very, very little to connect with previous games, or even Breath of the Wild. What I would say, there seems to be more of a connection with Skyward Sword than there is Breath of the Wild in this story's narrative. And even at that, you kind of have to really know your lore and your story of the previous game, or Skyward Sword, I should say, to make those connections yourself. As a new player, this stuff will go straight over your head, and it wouldn't actually impact the story at all. Knowing that stuff that I know, and as Zelda fans know, obviously adds a little bit more of, chills and goosebumps, because there is subtle callbacks to Skyward Sword and somewhat of a connection there. I mean, we all were talking about it. Everybody was theorizing the connection between Skyward Sword and Tears of the Kingdom with the Sky Islands and, Fi and all that stuff. It just seemed so perfect to connect to that particular game. And it's cool that there is some sort of connections there with that particular game, but very little with Breath of the Wild, which does bother me a little bit, because Breath of the Wild was such an important game and essentially was the starting point of Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom wouldn't have had the same hype level and excitement level it had if it wasn't for the success that came out in 2017, which was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But overall, that aside, the story is actually very good and I like it. I'm enjoying it so much and I can't wait to see how it concludes, which, as I've said at the start of this video, will be happening on Monday, the 11th of December at 2 p.m. Irish time. Make sure you head over to twitch.tv/Deebeegeek. Leave me a follow over there with notifications turned on, because we're going to make this an event to remember. I'm excited and I look forward to it, and I hope to see as many of you there as possible as we conclude this Ouroboros of a journey we've had with the Legend of Zelda franchise, which started with me in 2020, the end of 2020, and 3 years later, here we are about to conclude the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild franchise. For now. 3 years. 1, 2, 3. Triforce. Coincidence? Yeah, that's just a coincidence. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please comment down below your favorite memory, why you love this story or why you don't like this story. Do you agree with some of the points that I made? If not, let me know why. And please, if my points are wrong, please convince me otherwise. I'd like to know, because I want to be on the same wavelength as everybody else. But that's my overall opinion on the story so far. And yeah, but like I said, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe and all that stuff. And in the meantime, look after yourself. As always, stay geeky, stay cool, be awesome, and be happy. And I'll see you dudes in my next Tears of the Kingdom video. See you later, dudes.